Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narsimhan. Experts opine that Bharat's gross domestic product may expand by nearly 7% in the second quarter of the financial year of 2024, exceeding the RBI's October 6th estimate of 6.5%. The CII Business Confidence Index has continued its upward trajectory as it rose to a three-quarter high of 67.1, and according to the survey, about 55% of the respondents found that an improvement in the ease of doing business along with the government's thrust on capital expenditure are the biggest positives for domestic growth in the current fiscal. More than 97% of the smartphones sold in Bharat now are being produced locally. Yes, it's being made in India, and we are expected to match China's production capacity of 45 to 50% of Apple's iPhones by the year 2027. And Sri Lanka cricketer Angelo Matthews was ruled timed out during the crucial clash against Bangladesh in the national capital. He became the first batter in international cricket to be dismissed in this manner. According to the rules, after the fall of a wicket or the retirement of a batter, the incoming batter must, unless time has been called, be ready to receive the ball within 2 minutes of the dismissal or retirement. Now, if this requirement is not met, then the incoming batter will be timed out, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that Angelo Matthews wasn't there on the pitch and ready at the wicket to take guard inside of 2 minutes. He was, but then his helmet strap slipped and then he took some extra time. Shakib Al Hasan, the captain of Bangladesh, he appealed and the umpire said, "You got to walk." Was it within the line or the spirit of the gentleman's game? You decide that. Meanwhile, big hurrah to the girls who won the Asian Champions Trophy Women's Hockey, beating Japan 4-0 in the final. And with all that news, let's set up the talking point, the first story on The Right Stand this evening. It's an eerie deja vu, ladies and gentlemen.
There are many countries where there is freedom of speech and expression, but that cannot be a license to advocate violence and intimidation. We have seen activities which have been justified in the name of freedoms.
अरे ये तो बेईमान सा आदमी है, पैसे के लिए ऐसे ये सब कुछ कर रहा है। ऐसे इस आदमी की स्टेटमेंट को कभी सीरियसली ना लिया करो।
How can Canada allow such a statement from its territory? He must be immediately arrested and put behind bars.
On Saturday, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar called out Canada for promoting violence and K-extremism in Canada under the garb of freedom of speech. 24 hours later, SFJ head and designated global terrorist Gurpatwan Pannun is at it again. The global terrorist continues to spew hate against Bharat from foreign soil, and this time he's gone a step further and asked Sikhs not to fly Air India on the 19th of November onwards, calling for a global blockade of the airline from Vancouver to London. His threat comes as a chilling reminder of the 1985 Kanishk bombings. Pannun's open threat comes at a time when ties between Bharat and Canada are going through a very, very difficult phase following Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations against our nation in September over the killing of Khalistani terrorist and secessionist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in June. Now, Bharat, on the other hand, has asked Canada to enhance security on all Air India flights. So is Canada and our other nations allowing this free run for these secessionists? Is it emboldening these elements to further threaten and provoke? Now, here's what Pannun is doing. He's instigating youth against our nation. He's asking Sikhs not to fly Air India on November 19th. What that means? Well, legally, his statement is sound because he can call for a protest like this. But does that imply something far more devious? That's the bigger question. He calls for a global blockade of the airline. Now, it's not a state-run airline anymore. It's a private entity. It's a private airline. So will the Tatas now take cognizance of this and sue him on American soil? That's the bigger question. He warns of 1985 Kanishk-like bombing rerun. He's glorifying the killers of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. He's saying rename the IGI airport to Ban Singh Airport. He's threatening the likes of Amitabh Bachchan, Kamal Nath and Jagdish Tytler. And he's saying that break the economy to break Bharat's backbone. Continues to threaten to attack the Cricket World Cup final. These are things that he is turning out and saying. So should this person, this rabble-rouser, this two-bit person who's running an immigration racket and largely secession for money racket and trying to rope in young, impressionable youth at the behest of an entity that's been inimical to Bharat, that is the ISI. Question is, why is an American citizen being allowed to do all of this on UK soil, on Australian soil and on Canadian soil? That's the larger question. Meanwhile, top intelligence sources via our Group Editor Security Affairs, Manoj Kumar Gupta, are telling CNN News 18 that Bharat is raising security bars in airlines, adding that a threat analysis was also sent to the External Affairs Ministry and urgent steps will be taken soon. We have also called out inaction by our counterparts, against the likes of Gurpatwant Pannun. Bharat has enough proof against this man. That's what our claim is. And he's openly threatening one nation sitting in these countries, and no action is being taken despite multiple requests. Despite these requests to these nations, no action has been taken yet, is the quote that's coming from sources within the government. He's already attacked the Indian High Commission in UK and in Canada. His links with Pakistan are well established. He's running an immigration racket overseas, and it is feared that he can radicalize people, and the same can translate into a hostage crisis or physically damage Air India. This is what is being said. This threat to Bharat, is this also an eerie deja vu, ladies and gentlemen?
Hello, Moto.
Let's go across to our guest this evening, Manjeev Singh Puri, former diplomat with us, Lieutenant General KJ Singh, retired defense expert, is with us, and Ramneek Maan, activist, with us. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for your time. Ambassador Puri, I'd like to start with you, sir. How do we deal with an element like him? See, his statements are very carefully worded. They are very offensive to Bharat, but he is vetted. It's been vetted legally. So he can legally claim to be sound because what he has said does not threaten violence, although it implies it. It does not threaten bombing, although it implies it. So he's trying to stay within the legally plausible grounds. But this is dangerous. We know his activities are dangerous. How do we get nations to act against this element? Sir, I can't hear you. Please unmute.
Anand, very good question and very, very, very well put. He's a serial offender. And this is not the first time at all that he has done this. We have all, in some senses, those of us who have been posted in the United States, etc., felt the Sikhs for justice and Gurpatwant Pannun and their activities in various forms. He's an American citizen. I think first and foremost, in the strongest possible manner, matters should be taken up with the US. Now, you mentioned Canada, Australia, UK, etc. Yes, he's used their soil for various purposes. But frankly, he's a US citizen. If I'm not mistaken, he's based in New York or somewhere around there. You also mentioned that he's a clever guy. He's a lawyer by training. So he knows what the sort of bounds are. But bounds are not the only thing. He is threatening violence, and he is threatening violence in an open manner. I must say that, he has threatened people here in India. Those who have been witnesses, who have been fighting the 1984 cases, etc. So this is a matter which is a serious one. And in the past also, we've taken it seriously. We've protested, we've raised our concerns. But I think in the current context, it's particularly important that this matter not only be raised with the Canadians, the Australians and the UK, but principally with the country of his citizenship, the United States of America.
A rabble-rouser like him, Lieutenant General KJ Singh, he's been largely rejected. He claims 2 lakh support, aate 1700 hain. He claims thousands and thousands and lakhs of people are gathering and giving him etc. etc. Nothing of that sort is happening. His group has a group of rabble-rousers. Most of them tacitly say they've been paid, or they, he's promised them a favor or something like that. On the other hand, Diwali celebrations, etc., and you see the Sikh diaspora along with the rest of the Indian diaspora coming out in huge numbers. So there is a outright rejection of what he's doing, but there are certain gurudwaras like the ones in Surrey, in Southall, that have been taken over by these elements and that have become a place where Sikhs can't even go to pray because they're afraid, because they're forced to bend to people, which is against the tenets of Sikh itself. So how is this, all of this being allowed under the garb of freedom of speech? How is this freedom of speech? General KJ Singh.
Anand, Jai Hind, and Sat Sri Akal to all your viewers.
Sat Sri Akal ji.
We are ourselves, puzzled, because this man, you see what you're showing on your screen, he has been masquerading without proper Sikh attire. He doesn't even wear a proper turban. I really can't understand how has he taken it to represent this community, which is never stood with him or given him any mandate of that kind. Now he's got a small group of rebel rousers. We have flagged the issue with Interpol also. We have designated him as a terrorist under UAPA. His property in Chandigarh and Mohali has been, and farmland in Amritsar has been attached. The parts of property have been attached. So he's got really no real, mainstream support. Only some fringe elements are supporting him. And Anand, this is a horrible time about this kind of threat. This is the time when large number of Sikhs from Canada, USA come back to India. Harvest time, Diwali, then Guru Nanak's birthday on 24th, Guru Tegh Bahadur's Martyrdom Day. So there are large number of, and Guru Gobind Singh's Gurpurab. So Sikhs come over here, and that gets meshed in with Christmas holidays till that time. You are unsettling all of that. You are issuing a threat like this. And frankly, I'm very puzzled. Sometimes I tend to believe that this man is also working for some American intelligence agencies. Otherwise, why aren't they taking note of it? Twice India has flagged the issue to Interpol. Both times they've said insufficient evidence. What more evidence do you want? This man has come on TV and he said that I am part of all the terrorist acts. A few of them, he flagged them. He's issued a threat to PM Modi when he went to Assam. He issued a threat to our High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar Verma. He also told all the Hindus, Indo-Canadian Hindus living in Canada that you exit from there. And yet there is no evidence. I am really surprised. So Anand, it's good you are flagging this, and I hope global viewers take notice of it.
No,
in India,
sir, Air India is a private airline. What stops Ramnik Man at Tata to go after him on American soil, sue him there for defamation and for hurting business and corporate interests? What stops an Indira Gandhi International Airport from taking him to task as the Airports Authority of India, go after him legally? So get him to come to India, and so, because we are based in India, we can file a case in the Honorable Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can ask him to come to Indian soil. एक बार India आ तो जाए, फिर इसको दिखा देंगे. The other thing is Ramnik Man, we can also say statements, or we can also make statements which are legally sound and legally backed, but it will put Pannun in his place. The other part is, if there are FBI officers or intelligence officers who are providing him cover and security, can we not highlight these people and question the nations?
Good evening, Anand. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Jai Hind to everybody. Anand, I think, this fellow who's coming out with these threats, or aap keh rahe hain ki why can't we do it? We will do what we have to do. We don't have to come on television and make statements about it. जो बरसते हैं वो गरजते नहीं हैं, और जो गरजते हैं वो कभी नहीं बरसते. So this man is incapable of doing anything. Leave alone coming to India. ये जो बोल रहा, he can't even back what he says. But the only backing that he has is from the Western agencies, and General Saab is right on spot. I have the same belief. You see, the Western agencies have a bad habit of protecting, promoting and projecting people who wish to destabilize India, and for that matter other countries as well. Every separatist movement is coming out of the West, and it is time, and you already see West is paying for their deeds. That's how, you know, karma works, number one. But yes, let's not leave things to karma, all right? This man has come out this time and he says we want to balkanize India. We want to break India. Is that not enough? Is that not sufficient evidence enough? He says that azadi di jang janoon naal ladi jandi hai. So why don't you come and fight? Why don't you come to India and fight? Where is your janoon? Why is your janoon only limited to television statements or video statements that you issue? But again, the problem is with the countries in the West, Anand, if I may. Kanishka bombing happened. Before Kanishka happened, the government of India asked for the extradition of Talvinder Parmar. He was not extradited. And lo and behold, 40 years after, the Canadian legal justice system, their legal system could not find one person responsible. They could not zero in on pinpoint who was responsible for the death of 280 Canadians and a total of 327 human lives. I mean, that is Canadian legal justice system for you. What do you expect from them? People died. Now they would come out in support of freedom of speech and freedom, right to protest. I mean, somebody asked Justin what happened when the truckers got on ground. You placed Canada under a virtual emergency, which by the way is still on. Now, our diplomats are being threatened, our Prime Minister has been threatened. I mean, you are hosting all sorts of gangsters, murderers, gundas and inami, badmash and terrorists in your country. What do you expect of these countries, Anand? They are not going to act, I am telling you. I am telling you these people are not going to act. Now, only thing this Pannun and his team is trying to recreate is the times of 1980s. They are trying to recreate a situation where, you know, Sikhs feel threatened outside of Punjab in India. He wants to look, he says, we want to bring down Indian economy. It is the Indian economy which the Prime Minister promises to be number 3 in the world. And it comes at a time when, like General Saab said, that it's Guru Nanak Padshah's Gurpurab on 27th. It is Guru Tegh Bahadur Saab's Shahidi Divas. You know, on 5th of January, we're going to have Guru Gobind Saab Padshah, Daswe Padshah's Gurpurab. Yeah. And there are a lot of people who are coming back. And I mean, look at their intellectual level, Anand. Indian Airlines or Air India is not even a airline which is owned by the government of India anymore. It is Tata's, and yes, Tata's can pursue a legal case against him. But he has not said, you don't travel because it's going to blow up like Kanishka. People infer that is what he says. But he says, your life could be in danger.
No, but that is,
see, that is actually threatening people to blow up those
correct.
planes.
So he is not backing it with credentials. So he can be charged in the Supreme Court of India and he can be summoned to India.
The Prime Minister of that country, Anand, for heaven's sakes, he has only credible allegations. It's been months now that he's not been able to come up with one credible evidence.
Right.
What do you expect?
Correct.
This man should have been caught. This should have been repatriated to India. But you know, the interesting part is, Anand, 10 more seconds, Anand. The interesting thing, Anand, is that these are American citizens.
Sir,
these are Canadian
whatever be the citizens,
these are UK citizens
just
who are
Ambassador Puri.
interfering.
Ambassador Puri,
just 10 more, let me complete
Ramnikman, you'll have to yield, Ramnikman, because I have limited time and you know, I just want to get a quick comment. But जो घी सीधी उंगली से नहीं निकलता सर, उसके लिए उंगली टेढ़ी तो कर सकते हैं हम. We can do it, Ambassador Puri. We can do it smartly if you want to.
Anand, you know, first point I want to make is that the man doesn't have any kind of credible following. That's a well-known fact. You have illustrated it very. You know, in some senses, given his old age profile, he is trying to recreate what he did 30, 40 years back, and an opportunity has come. Now, you are absolutely right. You have to act in various ways. Diplomacy is one way of acting. The judicial process is another way of acting. And the fact that he is not perhaps a truly serious player, as the interviewer on your television program had said, that still doesn't make it a case that you simply forget it. But may I make a small point to you, Anand? He gets more airtime here in India than anywhere else in the world.
Correct.
That also remains a fact. But of course, we are concerned. The others are not. So, you're right.
I'm just saying that the way Pannun is playing his game, we can play that game and we can bring him to task. And it just takes 2 or 3 big legal suits to try and tie him down in knots and XXX in a twist. The other thing is that perhaps the community needs to call him out for the fact that he doesn't even follow the 5 basic tenets of Sikhi. And he's got no moral right to stand there and talk on behalf of this fantastic community. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have to move on quickly. There's a big development that's happened in the south of the Vindhyas in Tamil Nadu. Quickly shifting focus to that. Already facing ire over the Sanatana Dharma remark and under criticism for not treating Hindu religious institutions properly. The Tamil Nadu government facing yet another major charge, and this is with the historic Arunachaleshwara temple that sparked outrage among devotees. The Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Department has granted administrative permission for the construction of shops on a section of land owned by the Arunachaleshwara temple situated in front of the East Gopuram. The permission allowed for the execution of the deposit work through Public Works Department allegedly involves an estimated sum of 6.4 crore. T.R. Ramesh, advocate and Free Hindu Temple activist, is with us at this point. Namaskaram, Mr. T.R. Ramesh. Thank you very much. You've said that some historic portions of the temple are already lost and other parts of temple land is now being encroached by the HRNC department, which is a gross violation of the temple and the deity's rights itself. Can you please explain, sir?
Sri Arunachaleshwara temple in Annamalai is a historically important ancient temple, which is at least 1,500 years old. UNESCO, which inspected this temple on the orders of the Madras High Court, on the Honorable Division Bench orders of the Madras High Court, gave a detailed report to the High Court, and it has recorded this temple as an epitome of architectural ingenuity. It's a great heritage site which has been vandalized continuously by the HRNC department. They built a modern office inside the temple by altering an ancient mandapam. Then they built 2 cottages inside the temple. And they put a vehicle shed and a maintenance shed there. They are doing so many violations. Now, to sum it up all, they are building a shopping complex right in front of the temple, in the temple land, at a cost of a whopping 6.4 crores, taking the temple money. Now, this is a scandalous violation of the aesthetic values of an ancient temple, not permitted by law, not permitted by heritage, etc. The second thing is, this temple is occupied, as our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji said, is occupied by Tamil Nadu government illegally from 1951. The notification of this temple came to be annulled by an order of Honorable Division Bench, the order dated 13/12/1951. And subsequently, this order was confirmed by a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court in the Shirur Mutt case. 7 judges have confirmed this judgment of the Division Bench of Madras High Court. Still, the government has not gone out of this temple and another 45 temples. They continue to squat in this temple. And the non-existent, the non-est executive officer is also made the sole trustee of this temple. Such a practice has been declared as a fraud on the statute by the Honorable Madras High Court. And the appointing of the executive officer himself as the fit person of the temple, that is the sole trustee of the temple, is only to carry out payment of salaries and puja expenses and the Annadan expenses in the temple. Whereas they are embarking on a 6.4 crore project which will violate the aesthetic and heritage value of the temple, and they are building it right in front of the East Gopuram, the temple tower, the magnificent temple tower. There is no end of violations by the HRNC department in Tamil Nadu.
But if they are not supposed to be there, how are they there? And are you going to move court against this?
See, I have moved court in 2020 stating that they are there only by a fraud on the statute. and the court issued notice, and on while replying, they are not able to produce a single order in any of the temples I challenged, saying that this is the legal order by which they are functioning there. They are not able to show even for one temple. So I'll move the court again to bring that case for a quick hearing, because now they are depleting the funds of the temple. They are also violating the heritage aspects of the temple, and they have to be removed from the temple immediately.
Fair point made, Mr. T.R. Ramesh. Thank you very much for speaking with us. We'll continue to track this story, get the HRNC.
This temple,
yes, quickly, sir.
Monument by the central government.
So it's a heritage monument declared by the central government.
No, it's not yet declared. Central government should declare it.
Should declare it immediately as a heritage monument is your demand. We'll ask the HRNC department for their clarification. Do they even have the rights? We'll see how the court opines on this. Thank you very much for speaking with us, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a very quick break. When we come back, it's an exclusive conversation with the Tamil Nadu BJP president, Thiru K. Annamalai, and Annamalai has traversed 94 constituencies already as part of his Yen Man Yen Makkal Padayatra. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Stage 4 of the Graded Response Action Plan has been implemented out here in the national capital, which means that vehicles coming from outside the borders of the national capital, they would be checked and stopped, and only those vehicles that are carrying essential commodities or are operating or CNG or on electronic mode will be allowed to enter the national capital. Currently, I am reporting from one such border of the NCR region. This road connects Ghazipur, Uttar Pradesh state towards the national capital. If I could just move out of the frame and try and show you in the visuals over here, that none of the vehicles, absolutely no vehicles that are crossing this border are being checked. They are being allowed to travel inside the national capital unabated. Over the past 1 month, we have seen that several stages of the Graded Response Action Plan has been implemented out here in the national capital, but the reality on the ground seems to be absolutely different, because there are very few checkpoints that have been placed out here in the national capital to make sure that the GRAP, the reason why the GRAP is implemented, that could also be implemented on the ground apart from being implemented on paper. A big reason behind this is being said that the civil defense volunteers who are part of the Delhi government have actually given up their job because they haven't gotten the salary for a very long time, and that is the reason why they are not deployed on the ground, making sure that whatever measures that have been implemented through the GRAP policy, that is implemented on the ground as well. So yes, it remains to be seen if at all the Delhi government can find some way to make sure that whatever policies they are trying to bring in at this point in time to make sure that the air quality remains under control and people of Delhi are allowed to breathe in fresh air, that is implemented on the ground. But yes, hectic parleys are continuing between the Delhi government and the Delhi administration, but we are still waiting to see some concrete solution that is given out and that could be implemented on the ground, which could eventually mean that the people of Delhi who are running from pillar to post to just get a grasp of fresh air can actually breathe in fresh air and air that is safe for them, safe for the children, and safe for their parents as well. Fourth straight day when the AQI in the national capital has remained in the severe category, which means the AQI has remained above 400 for 4 consecutive days, which means that the air that the people of Delhi are breathing is becoming toxic and worse day by day. Currently, I am reporting from the pollution hotspot of the national capital, that is the Anand Vihar bus terminal. From today itself, the Graded Response Action Plan Stage 4 has been implemented, which means, due to which we can expect that the traffic in the national capital might be under control. But if I could show you in the visuals over here.
Namaste and Jai Hind. When I was last in conversation with him, he was on the verge of starting his Padayatra. For some reasons, it got a little delayed. But then once he's hit the ground, Yen Man Yen Makkal has become a talking point. So we thought, let's just get to the ground and catch up with the state BJP president of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Annamalai, and ask him, how is it going along so far? Annamalai ji, vanakkam, namaskaram.
Vanakkam sir, thank you for coming all the way. We are sitting near Trichy and having this conversation. We have done about 94 assembly constituencies in Tamil Nadu. July 28 we started. We still have another 140 odd constituencies to cover. It's been a big learning experience, humbling experience for the whole party, the whole cadres, the leadership, because we are going deep into the ground, meeting people whom we are supposed to serve. And politics of late, if you see across politics, especially in Tamil Nadu, it has become so disconnected. It has become power, it has become more about cutouts culture, more about sitting in Chennai and dictating how politics of Tamil Nadu would be.
When you started, what was your thought process? Do you remember day 0, day 1, and now you are a few months down the line? There have been some interruptions, but like you said, 94 constituencies. So from day 0 to covering about 94 constituencies, what have been one or two standout moments for you or learnings for you? How did perception change for you?
For me, it was a shock, the first 10 constituencies I did in South Tamil Nadu. A sense of shock, because Tamil Nadu from the outside we always see this as a very developed state, a state that is very heavily developed. The social indicators are pretty high. And when we started from Ramanathapuram, when we were going into the rural parts, the first 10 days, these are all aspirational districts. And when Modi ji has announced 500 aspirational blocks, and 2 blocks come among the 500 also. I could see women carrying water in a small vehicle with 2 wheels. They have 6, in Tamil what we call kodam. They keep the 6 containers there and they were pulling it for 5 kilometers. I've never imagined in our state somebody can pull it for 5 kilometers for a drinking water. Yeah, now Modi ji saying that I am going to give water to you through a pipe which is going to come. For me, sitting in Delhi, it was all about my village, and my village was a pretty developed village in the western part of Tamil Nadu. It is like, okay, people walk half a kilometer, people don't have a good quality of water. Now Modi ji is giving water through a pipe. But this is an altogether different challenge. For me as a politician, as a BJP Karyakartas, how do I communicate this vision to those rural folk? To tell them, look, this is your problem. And do you know, Modi ji is actually solving a problem. We have covered 66% of Tamil Nadu through the piped water. So this was a big revelation, sir. And the good-natured intention Narendra Modi ji has got for the people has really translated and sunk deep into people's heart and mind. The challenge for us is, how do I communicate individually to each person? Because it is a disparate group of person. A lady who is carrying water has got a different narrative. A farmer has got a different narrative. Household woman folk has got a different narrative. A 100-day employment labor has got a different narrative. So this is a learning. We also know what the challenge the party is facing at the grassroots. And I don't think anybody in Tamil Nadu has attempted a Padayatra of this scale, sir. Normally you go walk in a road. Kanyakumari to Chennai, you catch a main road, you walk there. But here it is like every constituency, we cover 2 constituencies every day, 2 speeches. Both the constituencies you meet people. Again you start it fresh the next day. It is like till now we have done about 95 speeches, 95 major speeches. For us, as state president, as Karyakarta, standing there and listening, it's a revelation to me. Because coming from their mouth, they say, look, I have to get up 1 hour before then my husband and my cousins and my in-laws, because I have to go to a toilet outside the village and come back before the village gets up. That pain of just going outside just for the sake of a nature's call, one toilet has transformed.
What are the challenges that you see on ground as state BJP president? Your party is nowhere, right now it's in the consideration space. Otherwise in Tamil Nadu there is no BJP. It's largely the AIDMK, DMK is in power, there is Congress, and then there are some of the other parties, you know, even PMK and some of the others get talked about, VCK, they get talked about. BJP never got talked about. So what's your biggest challenge now that you've gone on ground?
The two major Dravidian parties in Tamil Nadu, ADMK and DMK, both of them, they have been in power for a long time. 6 terms. Now DMK is in the 6th term power now. And their network right up to the grassroots is so strong. They have cultivated a group of intellectuals from here, writers, other intellectuals, people who talk in TV space, and everybody talks about the Dravidian philosophy. It is like a big ecosystem is built in Tamil Nadu. Every place you go, you see a statue, somebody honored it, or people village say Kalaignar Karunanidhi stayed in 1958, or Dr. MGRG came in 1974. Every village has got memories of leaders coming, staying in that village and moving. So it is like a ecosystem is built around them. Now BJP, to break into that mold and enter into it, you need grassroots leaders, sir. That's a big challenge for us. And these grassroots leaders are not just any grassroots leaders who are problem solvers. Somebody goes and says, Anna, there is a problem in Tahsildar office, can you pick up a call and solve it for me? Can you come to the police station with me? Or the street light is not functioning, can you do it? So those kind of leaders is the challenge for BJP, because whatever Modi ji is doing, whatever image Modi ji has built, the great image that people carry for Modi ji, to translate that into votes, people have to trust a local guy. So this is where I think the party is growing over the last many years to fill that gap. So this is the first challenge. Second challenge, I see in the narrative space. When I go to a very deep rural area where a lot of problems are the making of DMK. For example, I go to Ramanathapuram. Again, I am starting with one district where we started. You see very clearly agriculture has failed. The district is in distress. Because we haven't solved the water problem after the great Karmaveerar Kamarajaraya, who was our Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Water has failed, people have studied, no employment. Chennai, Kanjipuram, Chengalpattu, Coimbatore, 4 districts of Tamil Nadu, it contributes 32% of Tamil Nadu's GDP. The neighboring district Karur, which contributes 1.3% of Tamil Nadu's GDP. So here, there is a distress around the rural area in which I have studied, I am an engineer, no job, because no industry has come to my place. So this is building up. The third one, sir, is all about very good. Tamil Nadu is a state that likes good communicators. People like flowery communication style. So I need to have 500,000 of BJP people who can speak in that language, articulate communicators, catch the attention of a person for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the ground. These are the 3 challenges which we are addressing as we move on, sir.
How many of these challenges have we progressed and reduced the level of the challenge?
With respect to the first one...
Or is it that people are coming and seeing someone who's come and speaks well, that is Annamalai, and then let's go back home? So where is the aggregation that's happening?
Sir, with respect to the first one which you have said, grassroots leadership, I am very happy that I am getting new generation, the party is getting new generation of young dynamic persons coming in, 35, 37, 38. I just need that sharpening of political acumen, that's it. They are very good, they want to serve, but they don't know politics. And that is the group. We have done 3-4 trainings now, 500 batches in Chennai, in different parts of Tamil Nadu. And many young people got elected into local body polls, especially urban local body polls last year when the polls happened, when BJP stood alone. So it is more like a seed that is planted. It will take some time for them to grow. We just have to be patient with them. And second, with respect to our senior leaders who have put in a lot of heart and soul over a long point of time, now they feel confident and jubilant that BJP's time is now. Even for an old horse, it can still run faster provided the horse believes, oh, I can reach that destination. Now many of our senior leaders believe, hamara time aayega, it has come now. So they want to push that extra. So that is a very beautiful space. The party is inside now. We have to take it by avoiding small ego tussles, the newcomers, old comers. A lot of people come from outside party into BJP. They might not know our ideology, but we have strong ideology people inside the party. So that combination we have to solve, sir. With respect to communicators, now what has happened, sir? In Tamil Nadu, communication is becoming more data oriented now. One thing what I am trying to do desperately is, shifting this communication from larger than life people of Tamil Nadu to get into the real ground issues of what is happening, what is it that affects you and me. So we want to communicate on them on their communication strategy because we will fail, that is their strength. But we want to shift the whole communication to altogether new paradigm. Look, this is the data, this is the data, this is what is happening in your problem, can we solve it? So this new thing is what we are trying to do, sir.
But are you going to be able to do it in a state where the DMK, A, is so strong, and B, seems to be largely not just controlling the narrative, but as per their numbers, they are delivering on ground. So are you really going to be able to break the DMK bastion? And especially when now that you have walked out of an alliance with AIDMK, a large part of it was seen that the AIDMK would do the counterbalancing versus the DMK in this NDA alliance. Now you split with that alliance. Is that not going to hurt your chances more?
I see a good chance, sir, because even when DMK got to power, they got 33% votes, 2021. So when ADMK came, they got about 31% votes. You see, I still have about another 40%, which is waiting. Vijaykanth, it gave an importance. And I am not really bothered about the DMK vote split should happen. If the DMK vote split happens, if it happens in multiple 3-4 places, finally DMK will win. So I am not buying into that narrative because, sir, people are very clear. When you have a national leader, Prime Minister Modi ji as Prime Minister candidate again for 2024, you see other party people voting for Modi ji, but not necessarily for BJP. In Tamil Nadu, we have seen this tactical voting many places it is happening. So people know who is governing, who is the opposite side. So people do tactical voting. So I don't think 2024 election, I am seeing that as a major threat.
So they're not voting based on their caste. They're not voting based on who's their taller leader, who's the one who's coming and who's going to advocate for them. Tamil Nadu is also hugely caste driven.
Correct. It's 100% caste driven. I'm not denying it. So 2014 was more about when Modi ji was their Prime Minister candidate. And Jayalalitha madam framed the whole conversation as Modi versus lady. So, and the cadres felt, or many Tamil Nadu people felt, there is a possibility that Madam Jayalalitha can be a deputy prime minister if at all somebody is coming to power. So that was the narrative in Tamil Nadu at that point of time. But Modi ji led third front in Tamil Nadu. It cornered about 19% votes. DMK was the lowest, came to the lowest ever in their history of 23%. So that will give us an idea how they try to frame the whole argument. DMK caught because they were never in the race per se after the UPA 1 and 2. 2019 was more about a very false propaganda started in 2017, ran for 2 years, that whatever has happened in Tamil Nadu, central government is the reason. Thuthukudi firing or this or methane project or Jallikattu, blah, blah, and everything they brought inside. And they tried to create a narrative that, oh, Delhi is bad for Tamil Nadu. They had their own TV channels, newspapers, they kept running things for 2 years. It was like who is for Tamil Nadu, who is against Tamil Nadu.
But the 2024 narrative is that RSS BJP is representing Sanatan, and Sanatan needs to be eradicated, and it can be eradicated only when this RSS BJP brand of politics is eradicated out of Tamil Nadu.
Social media, everybody follows everybody reads everything. Now clearly they know what is Sanatana Dharma, eternal Dharma, timeless Dharma, Hindu Dharma, same. When people got only the small shift, immediately Udhayanidhi Stalin said, oh, 2025, don't want to talk about Sanatana Dharma, let us talk for 2026. That itself showed they want to go one step back foot on Sanatana Dharma. Sir, by now DMK ideally should have set a narrative in Tamil Nadu because 2019 they set the narrative by 2017, 2018. DMK till now is struggling to find a narrative. Is it going to be NEET? Is it going to be Sanatana Dharma? Is it going to be Delhi trying to plunder Tamil Nadu's resources? Or is it going to be our alliance will safeguard India's secular fabric, whatever they are trying to say. As you will also see, you also, I saw in your tweet that you have gone to a very famous hotel in Sri Rangam. When you talk to people there, people say, what is DMK trying to say for 2024? So that itself is a huge success because DMK till now couldn't come with a single narrative. This election is all about them.
One of the aspects that you have tried to highlight is corruption, where you have tried to take a position against corruption. But does that actually fly? And many would turn around and say, you are going to talk about DMK files, you put out one set of tweets and then you just went quiet about it. You have not said anything there. So people will say, you also backed off because you thought you had bitten, many would say you have bitten off more than you can chew, you have no proof, you are also making an empty claim.
You understand, sir? Whichever DMK files, whatever you have spoken, my job as a politician is to make that as a talking point among the common public, because I am not a minister, I am not somebody who can order anything to happen tomorrow morning. I am a normal citizen of the state. My job is to bring corruption to the forefront and make it as a talking point, which I believe we succeeded. People started talking, okay, this is what it is, this is what it is. Then defamation suits filed on me. I go to the court, I talk to the press. It has created an atmosphere in Tamil Nadu. Yes, fine. Corruption is a subject we haven't talked for a long time. We have kept it in the backseat. Come, let us talk about corruption. Then what happened? Subsequent rights at different points of time. Supreme Court mandated action on Sendil Balaji, he going to Pulal prison. Then Jagat Rakchakan, income tax right, 1,250 crore tax evasion they found, issued a press note. Eva Velu Raid, minister, continuing, even now as we speak, it is continuing for the third straight day.
You really believe in your manifesto promise of freeing Hindu temples? Now, this is an issue which is very close to a lot of people beyond political alliances, because we believe the BJP has not lived up to its promise even in some of the other states. Even with Uttarakhand, they had to give it up because they knew that this was going to hurt them in the elections. A lot of people believe it led to Pushkar Dhamiji coming back, in the BJP coming back to power, because they did it. In Tamil Nadu, you really think? Because this is where the whole campaign has been mooted. Some of your own members are active people demanding freeing of state control, of Hindu temples from state control.
The nature of endowment body in Tamil Nadu is very different from the nature of endowment body in Karnataka, or for that matter Uttarakhand, or for any other part. Because here the endowment body or the Tamil Nadu charitable and Hindu religious, the ministry itself, the nature is to crush the Hindu temples, the nature itself. You don't see controversy happening in other parts of India. Here it happens. Right from the time they started, they said, look, our only job is to maintain, preserve the Hindu temples for what it is. We will regulate. Nothing else we are going to do. That's how they are able to convince the communists also when the bill got into the state assembly. Then subsequently, if you look at it every 10 years or so, how this has encroached into temple, they came in. They had either an endowment officer, or for a small temple, something called a fit officer. Fit officer generally manages 5-7 small temples. EO endowment officer manages one big temple. Then over a point of time, they started plundering the state temple resources. Diversion, Innova cars will be bought. When the Tamil Nadu, the act clearly mentions 12% and 6%, not more than 18% can be taken out, either as an administrative cost or as a cost for doing an auditing. And 82% has to be funneled back into the temples for its daily maintenance. So people saw every 10 years the promise got eroded. 1986, 5.25 lakh acre, wherewith TNHR and CE. Now it is 3.25 lakh acre. Where did 2 lakh acre go? No. If we go to Tirichandur temple in RTI, 5,000 cows that was gifted to Tirichandur temple is missing now. Nobody knows who took that cow. Now the final nail in the coffin, from the big temples, the HRNC is entering into small temples. In Tamil Nadu, what we call Kuladeva Valibadu. This Sanatana Dharma in Tamil Nadu is all about small temples, not necessarily the big temples. Now, very first time after DMK has come to power, we are seeing these guys enter into small temple because there is a provision in the law. If communities fight among themselves in a small temple, Kuladeva temple, they approach HRNC, HRNC can take over the temple. Now, Tamil Nadu, everywhere in the Padayatra, I have seen people taking over small temples. One fit officer has put. Even for a small hundi collection, you go to them. Now they say, okay, this HRNC is definitely a pain with respect to what we are doing. So we cannot abolish it before people's mind is made up, sir. Maybe in 1980, people's mind weren't made up. 2000, it was not made up. Now, especially in DMK government rule, it is made up now. When Jayalalitha madam was Tamil Nadu's chief minister, it is a different thing. She was seen as a very tall Hindu leader. You got to have a combination where people say, act is bad, government is bad, then only the explosion will happen. Now it is happening after many years. We have to understand the context, sir. It is the people's will. HRNC has
But what's in it for the DMK to act against Hindu interests? A lot of times it is because they say that temples are being mismanaged. We are only helping. The DMK's claim is they have helped restore or build 5,000 plus temples. So if they were against temples, why would they do it?
So when you come with me, especially outside Trichy, if you go to a lot of rural places where I can show you 1,000-year-old temples, in a dilapidated condition, nobody has come in and touched. Nobody has done anything for the temple. What DMK claims, for example, DMK claims you have done 1,000 Kumbhavishekam. Sir, people do Kumbhavishekam on their own. What is HRNC's role in it? Last week I attended 5 Kumbhabhishekam in and around Karur district. People do on their own. You just have a HRNC brand to it. Because it's the village, self-sustaining villages. After 13 years they come together, they collect money locally, they perform, they do it. HRNC minister just goes on the day of Kumbhabhishekam for a photo shoot. It gets added to government's tally that we have done 1 Kumbhabhishekam. That is nonsensical argument given by DMK sir. Now, has any temple circuit they have developed here? Has any tourism potential around the temples being explored here? Temples itself can contribute to the whole feeding program of Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu sir, temples revolve around communities. For example, my temple you go, certain communities belong to that temple. You give a representation to that community should sit in that board. For example, you go to the temple, the Kali temple in Chennai. The Kali temple in Chennai was actually built for certain communities of that area. That community even now has got the first right of worship. You just hand it back to that community as a major stakeholder. You bring the other communities around that area as a minor stakeholder. You have a democratic way of having a board, and then you have some takkar, which is all very democratized by nature. No problems will happen. So you are completely anti-democratic. You nominate people to that board whom you suit or whom suits you or ideologically who is aligned to you. They go in, they do nothing. Endowment officer takes control over the temple. He swindles the money. So we have a solution to the HRNC goes out, what comes in next? So BJP is not talking in the air, sir. For us, HRNC has to go.
One of the aspects you said is that you are getting youngsters who are coming on board. But we are seeing these youngsters getting arrested every other day for misdemeanor, public nuisance, some case or the other that is happening. You also have a summons that is due sometime very, very soon. A case about 1.5 years ago or something you said. How do you see all of this?
Sir, I see when Dr. MGR started the ADMK party, the problem that he went through between 1972 to 74, the first 2 years of his party, the same thing Tamil Nadu BJP is facing. Though it might be a loud-faced comment. When ADMK started, when the flagpoles were put, DMK cut out all the flagpoles. They came, because at that point of time the flagpoles are wooden poles. They came with machetes and chopped it. Summons, arresting of cadres, threatening, any businessman in BJP or ADMK then the initial part, riding them, all those things. So I think it is par for the course, sir, because what they are thinking, you do this, a party will take a back step, will go one step behind, so that DMK will continue to do what they are doing. That is their motive. For example, in Chengalpattu yesterday, a MLA belonging to Kanjipuram, he speaks about our Prime Minister in the very bad way. 2,000 of our cadres, they go outside his office, they protest. They arrest till midnight, 11 o'clock. They remand 7 people. First time I am seeing in an FIR, a lady police is the complainant. She says, they have harassed me. When they are trying to protect them, they are trying to push me, pull me. I got harassed, Section 4B, Women Harassment Act, all 7 remanded. Very first time I am seeing you use woman as a tool, as a police officer to give a complaint in a law and order pushing, pulling. That is the level to which DMK has stooped down now.
I see a lot of pictures, and although you're saying you're going into the rural areas, somewhere I get the sense, is it largely just on the periphery of urban townships? So is it more your Padayatra and urban kind of a phenomena? Because BJP largely has grown in a lot of places in this manner. Are you steering clear of the core rural areas?
Okay, sir. Now, there are 2 things that you see. One, you see a footage of what we do in the evening, predominantly the urban area and the rural urban area mix. And many times people don't see what we do in the daytime. Visiting a village, we do Grama Sabhas. We sit in Grama Sabhas, which is not actually covered by the media because it is not supposed to be covered. It's all very intensive, 100 people, 150 people kind of thing. So our strategy is also, okay, let us not go to big cities where many leaders have come. Let us go to a mid-sized town. But in the footage, since a lot of people are coming, it always looks like people are crowded and everywhere. Delta, we have to completely change the strategy because rains are coming now. The rains have started. And it is all paddy sowing time now. People are planting paddies, people are there. Now this calls for a different approach because now you have to start early in the morning. Right. You can't go late in the evening. So we keep shuffling. The first time, the phase 1 of Yatra, we had 1 constituency in the morning, 1 in the evening. Phase 2, we clubbed everything to evening. Phase 3, we have to start at 6, maybe 7 in the morning. So we keep shuttling, we keep changing, sir.
So you're going to be working in the fields?
Yes, sir, 100% because I'm a farmer.
Pongal varudhu, Jallikattu season also comes. So are you going to be getting involved in that too?
Sir, our one vision prayer is if you are able to find Modi ji's time, we are planning to invite him to Tamil Nadu. Probably if PM sir is able to find some time in his busy schedule. And we want to portray the richness of Tamil Nadu because he brought back Jallikattu to us. So that is something the party is working on. Probably, maybe not in the Pongal, but sometime after Pongal. And I myself rear 3 Jallikattu bulls at home. And yesterday I was with my bull in the morning. And I have named my bull as Modi bull. And my first bull I have named it after Modi ji. And like many Karyakartas, my wish is also when Modi ji comes, our bull should be there in there. And we all, because that is all something we cherish and we do it.
Annamalai with the bull, we need that picture. So I have to exact that promise from him. Now, 94, I know we're running out of time, but does Ram exist in Tamil Nadu?
100% he exists. Ram exists in everybody's heart. And people are very
for
excited.
Those who deny the existence of Ram or said that Ram is something which is north of the Vindhyas, is a North Indian phenomenon. I've just come to Srirangam. I've done darshan at the Ranganatha Swami temple. But I'm asking you, is there Ram in the consciousness?
Lord Ram is there in the consciousness, sir. In fact, I wish and pray that in the future time when BJP is here, we want to trace the Lord Ram's trail, his trail to Sri Lanka, his connection to Tamil Nadu, the temples here. It itself is a big circuit. And one many of our North Indian friends also don't know. Even they might think, oh, Lord Ram, when did he go to Tamil Nadu? He has come here and we want to trace that whole path he walked. And second, with respect to Ram temple, sir, you will not believe when many of us were as volunteers part of the donation drive for the trust. And every single village house we went, people just came in because they wanted their sense of history, that I contributed something now, because India's, what to say, sir, India's image of, if there is something that will define India for a Western audience, it is going to be the Ram temple for many years to come.
So the fervor of Ram in Tamil Nadu come Jan 2022 and the Modi bull during Jallikattu with Annamalai at the helm. We look forward to both of them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Vanakkam.
Thank you.
These are the kind of visuals that we are bringing to you live from Anand Vihar terminal. If you could see the manner in which the vehicles are still plying on the road according to the grab that has been implemented, the stage 4 of the grab that has been implemented. No vehicles who are operating on diesel engines should be allowed to enter the national capital until and unless they are helping in essential commodities, or they are operating on CNG or electronic engines. But yes, we can see that there is very little check and balances that have been made at this point in time, and vehicles are being allowed to move freely from outside the national capital to within the national capital. Many other steps have also been taken by the Delhi government. If I could just show you in the visuals, on the other side of the road, the sprinklers are being used by the Delhi government to make sure that the pollutants that are on the road, the dust particles that are on the road, they stay down and they do not get up in the air, which would eventually mean that the AQI will get even worse. But yes, steps like these can only be seen like a drop in the ocean, because yes, the AQI in the national capital is continuously deteriorating. For the past 4 days, the people of Delhi are being forced to breathe in this toxic air, whereas very little to no work has been done to improve the AQI out here in the national capital. But yes, one thing has remained constant over the past 1 decade, that is politics around the pollution levels out here in the national capital. Be it the Delhi government or be it the central government, we have seen the constant blaming of each other for this deteriorating air quality in the national capital. But yes, there is very little to no result that has been seen that could have improved the AQI out here in the national capital. Now what remains to be seen, that today is day 4 that Delhi continues to breathe in severe air quality, and it is expected that over the next few days the AQI will remain in the severe category itself because of the weather and wind conditions. Will our governments finally get their acts together and put in a policy that would make sure that the AQI in the national capital that turns the Delhi NCR region into a gas chamber year in and year out, that could be improved for once and for all.
बोल रहे हैं 900 से ऊपर चला गया। मुझे समझ में नहीं आता कि ये पराली का जो प्रॉब्लम है, ये हर साल का प्रॉब्लम है, स्पेसिफिक इसी टाइम पे क्यों होता है। ब्लेम गेम चल रहा है कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट बोलती है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बोलती है दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट।
Good evening, this is Brass Tax. I'm Zaka Jacob. It's yet another day of rancid air in Delhi, and this time too our politicians are busy bickering. They have not disappointed us in how low they can stoop to, how tone deaf they can be. Yet again, it is Aam Aadmi Party versus BJP. This time over stubble burning, not in Punjab.